What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today we are going up against Mr. Powers in a RU/NU match. Basically, he just asked if we could have a battle. I said sure, and he said let's do half RU, half NU. So that is what I am doing. Heliolisk did get banned from NU just recently, so that's going to count as one of my RU Pokemon. I'll go over the team here in a second, but before we do that, just a friendly reminder, if you haven't done so already and you would like to show your support, feel free to do so by clicking that like button right below this video, or you can leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Any suggestions are always appreciated, and if you see Mr. Powers himself down there, give him a GG, or just throw him a hey, what's up? He's a really cool guy, so shout out to him. Now let's take a look at this team. We have a specially defensive Xatu. We have Scarf Flareon, which is a lot of fun to use. Hopefully it comes in handy here. Then we have physically defensive Seismitoad, which is going to be our Rock Setter. We've got Choiced Heliolisk, because that is my favorite Heliolisk. Then we've got a Hitmonlee set, which I love using this set. It's a Lychee Berry set, or Lychee Berry, however you want to say it. So much fun to use. It's Endure Lychee Berry, so we can ensure that we take a hit and get an attack raise, and then it's got Reversal on top of that, so +1 stab reversal from 1 HP kills everything, basically. It also has Mach Punch and Knockoff, so I don't know if we're going to get to use it against this team. He's got a couple of things weak to fighting. Not Eviolite, the Doublade could be a problem. But I have a Doublade of my own. That's going to be our spin blocker. From the looks of it, he doesn't have any rapid spinners. He just has a Defogger and the Noctowl. Shout out to you for bringing a Noctowl, though. That's freaking awesome. It's been forever since I've used one. Probably, what, late XY was the last time I used one, which I guess wasn't that long ago, but we're talking like 4 months. So, yeah, very threatening team here. The Doublade could pose a problem. The Walrun's probably defensive. He's probably got a Choiced Rotom-Mow, I would guess most of them are, although it could be defensive as well, so we need to watch out for that. Noctowl's going to be specially defensive, undoubtedly, and then he's got the Tyrantrum, which is by far the biggest threat on his team. The Head Smash is a real problem, and that could tear a hole in my team if I lose Seismitoad, because that's basically the only thing that I have that can switch into it. I mean, I could switch in Doublade, but if he has EQ, that's not going to feel too good either. So we'll see. We shall see what happens. I'm leading off with Polaris, the beautiful Heliolisk. And he is going to lead off with the Meowstic. Alrighty then. I want to say that I outspeed this. What is Meowstic's base speed? Is it like 104? Or is it more than that? Do I really not know? I don't see Meowstics very often, and usually when I do, they're not female. So let me just double check here. It is 104. So I should be okay to just click a move. I mean, I could go for Hyper Voice, but Doublade switching in could be a problem, I guess. And he is going to go into the Rotom, actually. So I just clicked Volt Switch. So I guess he just didn't want to take damage on that, which that kind of makes sense because Meowstic is pretty frail. That really did nothing, though. I wonder if that's defensive. I feel like it should have done more, because that's Specs. That's Specs Volt Switch. Pretty sure that is defensive. Not necessarily specially defensive, but it probably has HP investment. Now let's see. What do I want to go into here? I could go into Flareon right here and just attempt to kill it. That's doable. That is very doable. Now, what did he have to switch into a Flare Blitz? Do I really want to click Flare Blitz the first turn? I don't know that I do. He could get a safe switch into Tyrantrum here if he predicts the Flare Blitz, which he might, as he does show off the lefty, so he is defensive. So you don't have to worry about this thing being choiced anymore, which is actually great. I don't know. That opens up some other options, though, like that Tyrantrum could be Scarfed, and that's a huge problem. That is a huge, huge, huge problem. That thing is so powerful. That Rock Head Smash, oh my goodness, it ends lives. Makes grown men cry. I really want to go for Flare Blitz here, just to kill this thing, but I really feel like he's going to switch. There's no reason to leave this in. No reason whatsoever, because even if I was banded, I think I outspeed because he's defensive. So I want to click Superpower, predicting him to go into the Tyrantrum or the Walrein. And no, he just stays in. He stays in to take the Flare Blitz. Not the Flare Blitz, the Superpower. Wow, so I guess I overpredicted there as he goes for the Volt Switch, and he gets a safe switch into something because slow Volt Switches are the best Volt Switches. That is not cool. So I guess we overpredicted there, or not necessarily overpredicted, but he outpredicted me. Now he's going to go into Walrein. He comes in for free, and I guess that's not the worst thing in the world. If he went into Tyrantrum, that would be awful. I'm so afraid of that thing. Honestly, the rest of his team doesn't scare me too much, especially since we saw that the Rotom is defensive. So I guess it's just that and Doublade are the big threats that we need to watch out for. I'm going to go into Seismitoad here. If he wants to go for a water move, that's fine. We will just eat that up with our lovely Water Absorb. And if he doesn't, I should be able to get up rocks on this thing. Oh, he goes for the Stockpile, actually, to increase his defenses. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I was not expecting that, but then again, I don't see Walrein too often. So, I don't know what this thing is going to do. Is he going to have, like, I don't know, Spit Up maybe? That would be interesting. Or Swallow to get some recovery going? I don't know. He's just going to stockpile again to get up to +2 in his defenses. The good thing for us is that it's not like Cosmic Power. He can only get up to +3, so that's something. But I'm just going to set up rocks on this because I can. I know he has the Defogger in the Noctowl, but Noctowl itself takes 25% coming in. So that is useful. And it puts pressure on him to go for Defog. Just because Walrein and the Noctowl are already weak to it. So I kind of want to stay in and knock off whatever item this thing has, because I don't want it getting passive recovery. The stockpiles don't scare me too much, because like I said, he can only get up to +3, and I can set up on this thing with other things. So yeah, I'll just go for the knockoff, get rid of his lefties. Yeah, the lefties are gone. What are you going to do to me? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. We could try to Scald Burn him here, but we would just be fishing for the burn. If we don't get it, it's a waste of a turn. He has all of his stockpiles, so I'm kind of curious as to what he's going to do. I don't think he can touch me. He's just going to go for Ice Beam. All right, fair enough. That's not going to do too much. Actually, that did kind of a lot. I am physically defensive. So do we get a burn? We do not. So that was a good turn for him, not so much for me. Because seeing that he has Ice Beam doesn't do too much for me. Most of them would carry it anyway, I would think. He's not going to go for Surf, so I could get a safe switch into Flareon, but at +3 defenses, that doesn't do too much for me. Because Superpower will never kill this. And I don't want to lose Flareon, because on the off chance that that Tyrantrum is Scarfed and Adamant, I outspeed by just a tad, because I am Jolly. As he goes for the Spit Up and just kills me. Wow, okay. So he does carry the Spit Up. I was kind of like half expecting that, but at the same time, I really wasn't sure if he was actually going to have it, but he did. And he just demolishes poor Kerma, the Seismitoad. The great part about this is that the defenses are now dropped, which means I can now kill this thing. And if it wants to switch out, it's going to take 25% coming back in. I'm pretty safe just going into Polaris, the Heliolisk here, and I could click T-Bolt just in case what? I don't know. What would he really want to switch in on this? I guess he'd have to go into Rotom again. And with that Doublade around, locking myself into Hyper Voice is not the best thing in the universe. So Volt Switch is probably my best play. He leaves it in, actually. It's going to take a buttload of damage. Wow, he just barely survives. I should have went for T-Bolt. That would have killed. I was half expecting him to die from that. That stinks. So now I have to go into something to take a hit. If he has Scald, I don't really want to bring in Hitmonlee, even though I can take the hit very easily. I don't want to risk getting burned. That could end up being my win condition, especially if that Tyrantrum is something else like Dragon Dance. We may need that Mach Punch. So I am going to go into Xatu, I guess. I don't really have much else to switch in here. To be fair, he's probably not going to go for Scald. Because I'm dry skin, or Heliolisk is dry skin, rather. But it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go into Xatu here. I don't really need Xatu for too much, so it taking damage is not the end of the world. That does a lot to specially defensive Xatu. Wow. That does way more than I had anticipated. I can Roost on this thing, because that eliminates my flying typing for the turn. So I can at least get some of my HP back, because it won't be super effective when he goes for Ice Beam. I don't think this thing has any recovery. We've seen Ice Beam, Stockpile, Spit Up. So I doubt he has Rest. And if he does, then he'll just be asleep for several turns. So I will Roost up here as he just goes for Ice Beam again. That's not going to do nearly as much this time. Yeah, that leaves us with 70-something HP. Yeah, 79. Okay, not too bad. That's doable. That is definitely doable. I could Roost again here, actually, just to make sure that I have a little bit more HP, but I'm just going to U-turn and kill this thing. There's really no reason for him to switch out, just because it would just die upon coming back in because of the rocks. I guess, you know, he could bank on defogging with Noctowl, but that's probably not the best play, just because you don't want to take any damage on it. It, you know, is unnecessary. And Heliolisk might be my best switch here. I also kind of want to go into Flareon, predicting that Rotom to come out. And if he goes into Doublade, it can't kill me, and Flare Blitz is going to do a butt-ton of damage to it. So we'll see. We shall see what he wants to go into here. He is going to go into the Tyrantrum. Now, I outspeed this unless it's Jolly Scarf, which usually they're adamant when they're scarfed. And normally I like to carry adamant Scarfers too, just because that just tends to be what I do. But this Flareon is so slow at base 65 speed that I did give it a Jolly Nature. So I should outspeed this if it is scarfed. If it's Dragon Dance, that means I still outspeed it at +1 if it's adamant, which it usually would be. So we need to keep that in mind. And that means that I can also just fire off a superpower this turn. And I don't know if that'll kill. I guess it depends on how much HP investment he has. If he's Scarf, probably not much. If he is Dragon Dance, he might be a bulkier build. And if that's the case, I definitely outspeed after +1. So if he's a bulkier build and he goes for Dragon Dance here, 2 superpowers will probably kill him. I don't really have much I want to switch in, because he might go for EQ too, not wanting to miss a head smash. So I can't switch in Doublade. I have to go for Superpower here, and I do outspeed him. We'll see how much this does. And he just dies. That's not even a critical hit, Flareon. You are too powerful. What? I was not expecting an Oko there from an unstabbed Superpower. That's nonsensically just something. I don't know. It's nonsensically something. I'm at a loss for words. Just, Flareon's too powerful. It is way too powerful. That was the biggest threat on his team, and it didn't get damage off on anything, so that is just amazing. That puts me in such a great position. The Doublade is still a bit of a problem. Other than that, he's got Meowstic, which could be a problem because it's kind of fast, but I do outspeed it with Heliolisk, so it's not as much of a threat. I can kind of afford to just get rid of Xatu and get a safe switch into something. I could go into my own Doublade too, just to get some prior damage off on this thing. Although the Shadow Sneak would be nice for the Meowstic, but like I said, I outspeed it with whatchamacallit, with Heliolisk. I outspeed it with Flareon, so having Doublade around isn't like a win condition or anything. It's not necessary. So I'm going to go out into my own Doublade, which is shiny, because it's like it's one of my favorite shiny lines as far as like the evolutionary line. Hone Edge is my favorite. Aegislash looks pretty darn cool, and so does Doublade. I don't know. I just have a soft spot for it for some reason. Now, he goes for the Swords Dance, which is a bit unfortunate that he's going to get up to +2, because, yeah, it just is. Hopefully he doesn't have Shadow Claw. Hopefully he has Shadow Sneak, and he has the same moves that I do, because Shadow Claw will hurt at +2. Even though I have ridiculous physical defense and I have Eviolite, it's not going to matter. It's a Doublade. I could actually predict a Ghost-type move here and use that to get a safe switch into Heliolisk, and I think I want to pull that double right now. Because, yeah, that's what I want to do. I resist Gyro Ball, too, so he would have to have Sacred Sword. So he does go for the Shadow Sneak as we switch in the Heliolisk, so that proves to be a worthwhile double switch here. He can't outspeed me with anything, so I'm just going to Volt Switch. And that'll do a sizable chunk to this thing. And then I can either fodder off Xatu, come back in with Heliolisk and kill it, or go into my own Doublade. He is going to withdraw, so he's going to forfeit those boosts and go into the Noctowl. This is not going to take this very well. I don't know if it's going to kill it because Noctowl is usually specially defensive. And that just dies. That's a critical hit. That may have mattered. I don't know. I am Specs. I would have to calc that. But yeah, that was not going to take it well at all. So his Defogger is gone, which means those rocks are there to stay, which is great. That is great. It's not that important because it does nothing to Doublade, and Meowstic doesn't really care either. I could just go into Xatu here, but I think he's going to go into Rotom, so I'm going to go into Flareon. And if he goes into Meowstic, it still dies. So, Fluff it is! Go, Flareon, go. I'm so excited that this thing is putting in work. I really wanted Hitmonlee to shine, and I don't think it's going to get the chance to in this battle, but seeing Flareon kill some things, that's exciting. And he goes into the Doublade. You cannot kill me with a Shadow Sneak. So I could just Flare Blitz you. I don't know if that'll kill. I really don't, because Doublade is just ridiculously bulky on the physical side. I could just... Let's see. I could go right back into Heliolisk. If he predicts that and goes for a Sacred Sword, that would kind of ruin my day a little bit. I don't know if it's worth doing that. So I'm going to go for a Will-O-Wisp here. As he goes for the Shadow Sneak to try to get some damage off, knowing that I'm Scarfed at this point, most likely. And I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. And we get the burn off, so this Doublade is no longer an issue. So yeah, I figured it wasn't going to be worth it just to Flare Blitz there. I am locked into the Willow, though, so I do need to switch. And at this point, oh, he's not even at +2. He didn't Swords Dance. So he probably just can't kill Heliolisk. Even if he does have the Sacred Sword, I don't think that kills when he's burned. So, I mean, that would be a relatively safe switch, but I really don't need Xatu at all. So I can rack up some burn damage. And we'll see if he predicts me to go into Heliolisk here. Which he might, and he might go for the Sacred Sword. No, he's just going to Swords Dance to get up to about neutral. Which is fine, because he's just taking burn damage this entire time. And as soon as Xatu dies, I go right into Heliolisk and just kill this thing. Because his priority move does not affect me. So, I guess... I mean, I could Roost. I don't know how much that'll do, because I am specially defensive. So, Shadow Claw is still going to do a lot. Oh, he's going to go for the Shadow Sneak. That's probably just going to kill me. Yeah. Goodbye, Xatu. I'm sorry. You were basically used for fodder in this battle, but yeah. So, Doublade's going to get down to just about 50%, which means I have a couple of options. I could go into my own Doublade and start setting up Swords Dances, or I could just go into Heliolisk, and T-Bolt will probably kill, but then he's going to get initiative by going into Rotom, which quad resists T-Bolt. I could go for the Volt Switch. That combined with the burn damage will probably kill it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for the Volt Switch. That's the safer play. We'll see if that kills. This is Specs. And yeah, that's just dead. Wow. Heliolisk's too powerful. Too powerful. Love it. Alright, so Doublade is gone. Tyrantrum is gone. He's got the Meowstic and the Rotom Mo left. Or Rotom Cut, or whatever you want to call it. So, I could go into Hitmonlee here. But if he goes into Meowstic, that's an issue, I guess. I don't know. We're going to go into the Hitmonlee, because why not? Good old Bruce. We'll see what he does. It's probably going to be, yeah, the Rotom. Okay, fair enough. You do have Will-O-Wisp on this, I'm sure. So it didn't really matter. He could check me with either, I suppose. I suppose. But I could have endured on the Meowstic, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, because then I would outspeed it, and then Knockoff would kill it, and then that would clutch me the match. I'm going to predict a Will-O-Wisp and go into Flareon and see if I can catch him trying to burn me. Because then I'll get a Flare, or a Flash Fire boost, not a Flare boost. What am I talking about? He does go for the Willow. There's the Flash Fire. I believe that is game. It depends. It depends on if his Meowstic is Scarfed. If it's Scarfed, then it's not game, because he's going to kill me. Actually, we could die to Recoil here, too. That's possible. But Rotom out of the way paves the way for good old Heliolisk to come back in and do some things. So the Rotom dies to that, obviously. We are going to survive the Recoil by a little bit, 13 HP. He's got the Meowstic. I would assume that this is like Life Orb or Specs, because it kind of needs the boost, because its offenses really aren't that great. It's kind of lackluster. But anyway, I'm going to go for the Flare Blitz, and we will see if we outspeed or not. I'm going to say that we will, most likely. But we'll have to see what he's running here. And I don't know if he would have anything to hit the rest of my team anyway, so I'm not sure that it really matters. But we are going to go for a Flare Blitz, outspeeding this thing, and it is dead. I guess it could have been Focus Sash too, but the rocks broke that for us. So that is going to be the match, as we're going to see a double KO, the Meowstic and the Flareon going down. Flareon put in some serious work in this battle. What did it, take out half of his team or something? Got at least 3 kills. It's pretty awesome. So that was a really fun match. Thank you, as always, for the battle, Mr. Powers. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you see him down in the comment section, throw him a GG for me. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like rating or a comment or whatever you would like to do. And I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.